Morning, people. Welcome to United View. Welcome to the Morning View. What's going on? It's match day, Wednesday, 24th of April. Let me know how you guys are feeling, where you're watching from, how your weather is, what you got going on today. All of that stuff. We got so much to talk about with it being match day in general. And in terms of the news, Dan Ashworth, big, massive, huge, gaping hole of compensation gap between Manchester United and Newcastle. We're way off it. How are we going to get him? Just move on. This is typical Man United. Nothing's changed. INEOS are supposed to do things differently. John Murtough could have done this, been this far apart in valuation. John Murtough could have done this. Yeah, Woodward could have done this. This is just the same. Nothing's changing.
Flex. Now, we don't use sarcasm because sarcasm, in the same way you can't use sarcasm in a text nowadays, you can't use sarcasm in real life, can't use sarcasm in a show, because people will see this and go, Flex, you're a fool. You're an idiot. I can't believe Flex would say this. This is why you've been corrupted by the media, Flex. You've been corrupted by Sky Sports. You've been corrupted by Talk Sport. You're just looking to get into the press conferences. Yes, that's what you're trying to do. Agenda.
And also, we're going to be talking about Ten Hag's Ahmad plans. What Ahmad plans? Never uses him. May as well sell him. He never plays. He hasn't got any plans for him. So that's the news. And also, Casemiro and Varane. So we're going to get rid of them and we're going to keep Maguire. We're going to keep McTominay. Make it make sense.
Well, that's the show, folks.
Kenny Fan TV says Matisse in the mud. Mate. Mate. Oh, I mean, Matisse. Oof.
Can I say what you messaged me on Saturday?
Yeah. And you can say what I responded to you today. Yesterday.
Flex messaged me in maybe the first, what was it, like 5-10 minutes of the FA Cup semi-final between Chelsea and City. And he was like, City, he's like, Chelsea, looking good. Poch, it's clicking. And I think my response was along the lines of, Chelsea is shit. They'll look good for little glimpses, but they'll go back to being rubbish. And they obviously lost that game against City, not because they played badly, because Jackson can't put the ball in the back of the net and do his job. But then you see him last night again. That's Chelsea. That's what they are. That's what they do, Every time people get carried away with them, they then falter back. They're sort of a worse version of us, really. Just even less consistent. Not shocking. And then to be fair, I did the thing, when you can just reply to that message. I replied to that, or I screen grabbed it, didn't I? And was like, "This, you still saying this?" And Flex was like, "Well, first of all." Flex went in. Apparently, being the Manchester United fan does spill over into other clubs as well, because he went, no Cole Palmer, no Gusto. I'm not here for excuses, Flex. Where's the accountability? And then he went, but Chelsea is shit. And they are.
Yeah. No, they are. They are shit. Listen, they're shit. They are shit. Very bad. And without Cole Palmer, they are literally nothing. Nothing. They got nothing. So, yeah, I mean, Nicholas Jackson's actually handy. He just can't finish. He does a lot good. Like, he roasted Saliba a good couple of times. He's actually quick in that, but he can't
reminds me of Adama Traore.
Yeah.
When you say about Adama Traore, they go, if he had an end product, he'd be the best player in the world. That's what they'll say about Jackson. If he could finish, he'd be the best striker ever. But he can't.
Yeah, he can't. And you're at Chelsea, so you don't get... Nunes does that all the time. Misses all the time, but he's in a shit team. But anyway, this is not the Chelsea view. This is the United view.
Thank God.
Thank God, yes. Dan Ashworth, big piece yesterday.
Yeah.
James Ducker, done a big piece, claimed that we're miles away.
Yeah, we are miles away. Well, it's interesting because there had been sort of rumours, the scuttlebutt, if you will, on social media suggesting that it was close. It was these sort of club insider accounts. And I'm sure all of these journalists then called up their sources, called up the clubs and went, Is any of this true? Turns out none of it's true. So this is what James Ducker said from the Telegraph. Manchester United remain at least £13 million apart from Newcastle in their negotiations over a compensation agreement for Dan Ashworth. Newcastle want around 15 million plus a further 5 million in add-ons for Ashworth. Add-ons. While Man United are proposing a fee of around 2 million. There's a bit of a gap. There's a smidge of a difference in that one. Now, it carries on by saying, privately, Manchester United, who are operating on a tight budget this summer, feel that the extra 10 million plus it might take solely to shorten Dan Ashworth's garden leave would be better invested in playing talent. It's also been said, like it's been said over and over again, United, they're prepared to wait because unless there is a significant softening of Newcastle's stance, there is little expectation of Man United of Dan Ashworth starting before the summer, but they are prepared to sit tight if necessary. Manchester United are prepared to wait until the autumn or the end of the calendar year if necessary for Dan Ashworth. So, Flex, this one's, we've called it a compensation gap. I would say that's the gap the size of the Grand Canyon or something like that. I mean, can you imagine that? What are you looking for? Well, we're looking for 20. We're looking for 20. And we'll be, let's break it down. 15 plus 5. And Man United's response is, how about 2? How about 2?
And it's suggesting, the Telegraph, James Ducker is suggesting that because we're tight on P's, if it's an extra 10 plus million, we're better off putting that on like players and that. Like, don't.
Which I agree with.
This summer, I do agree
with that. I do agree with that. I think if it was a situation where we would only have, let's say, Omar Barada this summer, and we'd go, there's only like one guy that INEOS have brought in, you'd go, I don't know about that. That's a bit tight. There's a lot to do, etc., etc. Now that Jason Wilcox is there, you've got Wilcox and Barada. There's 2 people there. You're not going to be able to get everything done in the summer anyway, are you?
You can just make a start.
That's I think for certain decisions, there's at least a larger portion of the brain trust there is,
including INEOS, like because they're still even though like they're not going to go and find who that actual 18-year-old from South America is, or who I don't know who we're going to get, or whatever player from PSV might want to buy, whoever. Although they're not in charge of the actual scouting, when it comes to reporting on what the deal could look like and why the player is good to get or bad to get, at least like INEOS are in there and they will go, we're trying to move. I don't know about the intricacies, but we're definitely not doing that anymore. There's enough heads there for it to look somewhat different. But like you said, Dan Ashworth is a big part of what is to come. And him not being there by the summer is obviously a bit of a blow. But I think it's also a blow that Man United probably, I don't think they'll be blindsided by that. They could see that Newcastle were playing hardball for a while. So I don't think they would have expected, although Sir Jim tried the thing where they're just being silly and cutting hedges, they're still sort of, digging their heels in, aren't they, really? They're not going to back down on this. So, yeah, I think Dan Ashworth coming for the summer it's just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, well, to be fair, we did say that before, didn't we? We did say that the summer felt early, considering the step that he's making. I mean, people, it is different between coming from Southampton as opposed to coming from Newcastle, where, like I said, I know Manchester United are a bigger club, clearly, than Newcastle, but in terms of sort of the standing and the market at the moment, it's somewhat of a lateral move, isn't it? And we're in the pool for the same group of players. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Newcastle do get their replacement. Once they've decided on their replacement, maybe that room for negotiation might open up a little bit. Maybe they might then go, actually, we'll see what happens there. I mean, it's not as if Newcastle paid a hefty amount for him from Brighton either. I think it was like, 4 or 5 million or something like that? And that's Man United's point. And that was their point with Jason Wilcox at Southampton, wasn't it? They said that, he hasn't been there that long. So, it's not as if they're super, super, super integral and they know everything inside and out. Obviously, they're a key person. Obviously, it's a blow to your long-term plans because you'd plan for this person to sort of help guide you into the future. But at the same time, you paid this amount, so we're going to pay you this amount. And it's funny, isn't it? Because then we get back into this territory, don't we, of what do people want? Because at the same time, they don't want us to just throw money at the problem. Oh, just there you go. Let's just pay them what they want, get the people in. They want us to negotiate. Well, this is the ultimate negotiation, isn't it? Really? How do you bridge from 2 million to 20? How do you bridge that? And it looks like
that's not just one conversation.
No,
that's not.
it's not.
So all right, about that 15 gap. Like, okay, let's do this, and then it's done. No, there's exactly. It's a huge gap. And coming from a big source as well. You know, one of the mainstream journals, big outlet, credible journalist. So for him to do that digging and come up with that information, you know, there's got to be a lot of substance to it. I'm not going to say the exact figures are perfectly correct, but it does show us that there is a big gap in valuation, whether that's 15 million, 10 million, 12 million, whatever it is. It's not imminent. It isn't. That is not a report. That is negotiations going well, expect an announcement soon, or both parties very comfortable with where they are. Both parties want to get this done and wrapped up. It is not that. It's not that.
Well, here's an interesting one. Here's an interesting one with that, though, Flex. You mentioned about it's not close, it's not imminent, it's not done to get wrapping up. But when it is, given the track record of what we've seen before, we might not know. We might not know until it happens. You know, there might be a breakthrough one day and it's just done. And we were like, oh, a bit like with the Jason Wilcox things, like, we knew negotiations were ongoing. We knew that he was on his version of gardening leave, or certainly filling his notice period, serving his notice period at Southampton. Next thing you know, just suddenly all over social media, it's like, you know, Romano, Simon Peach, whatever, just be like, I think it's done. 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, literally, Man United released a statement, be like, yeah, Jason Wilcox sorted. Effective immediately, short statement. He's at Wembley at the weekend. So when there is this breakthrough, I don't think we'll particularly see it coming. I don't think there'll be rumors for days leading up to it. It'll just happen.
It'll be quick. Yeah. But the fact that there is a significant report saying they are far away.
Yes.
I do think that means they are. But you're right. It could all change very quickly, like within a week or two. That could really change.
Makes you wonder about his face-to-face talks with Amanda Staveley as well, doesn't it? How well did they go?
Well. Yeah. Well, you know, because the gym were just being there doing a madness, saying, you're just being silly now, Amanda. Like, we don't want to get this done. And she's just going to be like, well, we could be silly all we want. You know, he's our asset. You're not bullying us. We're completely comfortable where we are. You know, the owners, I've spoken to the owners. That's our stance. So we either pay this 15 plus 5 or what it is you want. Or you don't get him yet, or he waits.
You want to talk about big billionaire energy, Flex.
Oh,
when you run a marathon and then you're talking to the BBC after you've run a marathon in like 4 hours or so at the age of 71, and
then one of the first time for that age.
Yeah. And then one of the first thing you're going is, there's a problem in football. It's called gardening leave. We've got all of these people, great people. I'm like, you just run a marathon. Your team's playing at Wembley. And he's like, gardening leave is a big problem in football. And I did see him say that, and I thought, that's not really a football thing, is it? That's a kind of that's a big company thing. That's an employment issue, I think, as opposed to necessarily a football issue. But look, they're prepared to wait. They truly believe Dan Ashworth is the right guy. And as I said, I think the fact that they've got a couple people in, you would think would be enough for this summer, certainly to lay the foundation, lay the groundwork, because. But that's when we can't
expect miracles. We can't.
No,
that's where we do have to taper.
So interesting.
Expectation. Yeah, and the window's fascinating. There's so much that's going to be happening. And again, we have spoke about this in terms of forget how you feel about Ten Hag and will he stay, will he go? Whatever happens, even if Ten Hag stays, which is fine, it's going to take time to undo this. Like, INEOS aren't just going to come in and fix everything. Like I've stated that many times when some people have gone, you know, why'd you have this blind faith that they got this sort of just magic wand and they're just going to just do that and everything's going to just be fixed. It's not. It's going to take multiple windows. And it was, you know, Owen spoke about this the other day about certain players' cards are marked. So if I can't get you out now, like you're on the list to start, you know, that exit plan. Some of you, you know, you just won't get new deals. We'll let it run. Some of you, you're getting sold now. You know, it isn't just all on the manager that, you know, we still might not get a new manager. Like the plan could still be, no, we'll keep him. You know, we'll try and build with Eric, see if we can turn this around, get everybody fit and fighting ready to go in the summer, so there's not all these injuries and everyone's ready. Let's see how we start. Let's see how we go. We've got contingency if not, but we want to give him a chance under this structure. That could still well happen. And if it does, listen, I know I've been angry in the last few days, extremely angry. But if it does, I wouldn't be angry at that. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
angry at that.
I'm in the territory of back him or sack him, really. I think
Yeah,
that if they decide that he is the right guy, then they do need to give him a new contract and be like, all right, we're sticking with it. Like, again, this is the plan. I just think now at the beginning, as much as people want to say trust the process, we are at the beginning of another process, because the
exactly.
process that started 2 years ago, a lot of the people involved aren't here anymore. So that process has kind of stopped. So the decision has to be made whether or not they want to, in this new process, this INEOS process, this thing that's going to be taking, as Jim says, 3 to 5 years, do they want Eric involved or not? If they do, give him a new contract to see out that 3 to 5 year plan, because you're saying that's the guy.
I
If you're
don't think
not,
they'll do that.
then,
Won't do
well,
that.
he's got a year left on his contract. So you'd be like, give him, I don't know, or extend it. I don't know. I'm
I
of the
think they'll just
mindset at
carry
this
on,
point.
see how
I'm
it
at the
goes.
mindset. But then if he's got a year left on his contract, that's just even more ambiguity, isn't it? For
It
the next
is.
season.
No, but then, but
And that's part of the problem now. It's so ambiguous.
is.
We don't know what's going on with
We don't
Eric.
know.
We
But
don't know
I'll
what
be
their
honest.
viewpoint is.
I don't think they should give him a new contract. I think, I look, if they do give him a new contract, like we've seen with many others, we saw it with Jose, we saw it with Ollie. It's the results that dictate what happens. But I think in trying to balance the books, FFP, what they won't want to do is be a bit unsure in him, but want to give him a bit more time to see how it goes, but sign themselves up to committing to pay X amount of money. Then it goes pear-shaped, and then they do have to commit to then paying him whatever it is they. I think the worst thing they could do is give him a new contract. But it's not the worst thing they could do is not to see how it goes. But if they give him a new contract, we're asking for trouble.
I could understand that. I mean, look, again, full transparency. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be in the dugout at the beginning of next season. And I know that people say, "Oh, what if we win the FA Cup?" I don't think we're going to win the FA Cup. And we almost very
Stranger
fortunate.
things have happened.
I know, and look, and stranger things have happened.
It'll be just like this Man United team to win it.
And you never know. Well, it'd be like just like this Man United team to like have our worst Premier League finish ever, wouldn't it? We'd finish like 8th or 9th, and then win the FA Cup, and then it makes that decision again even more like
it does.
The FA Cup, we're fucking rubbish. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, it would be all that, wouldn't it? But like I said, I don't think he's going to be it, because I don't see the results happening. In all honesty, but we're living in this. I'm just all of. I think the reason why I'm saying this contract thing, is because I just want all of this to be over. This ambiguity, it's awful, isn't it? And the people going at each other is awful. Yesterday with the press conference thing, oh my god! Like I posted something on Twitter. And you feel like this is what you have to do now if you're going to comment on things. You have to like lay out every single scenario, because people do the whataboutism. So like yesterday with the press conference thing, you go, yes, he is allowed to have a go back at the media. They've been all over him since day one. They've been totally unfair to him in a lot of situations. So he has the right to go back at them. And why is a manager just have to be a punching bag for the media? When they go back, they get criticized. Like, yeah, of course he can go back. Also, of course, reaching an FA Cup final, your second in consecutive years, of course, it's an achievement. 4th final in 4 years for him, absolutely, that's an achievement. Winning the Carabao Cup last season, absolutely, that's an achievement. Now, was the overall reaction to the performance at the weekend, the result of the weekend, embarrassing? For me, I don't think it was. I think the collapse was embarrassing, and I think the reaction, largely because you can't totally generalize everything, but largely the reaction was pretty justified. And if you're the Manchester United manager and a Manchester United player that's involved in that collapse, what do we keep saying? Accountability. You have to take accountability for that. You're going to get pressure. You're going to get scrutinized. You're going to get hammered in the media. That's just part of the job, particularly of what happened at the weekend. So we're into that. And then also, by the way, the concluding point on that is it's also a press conference. So what do you want him to say? He's not going to throw himself under a bus and go, yeah, we were humiliated. I feel totally humiliated. He's not going to throw his players under the bus. He's never done that. Or the odd occasion that people would like to talk about with Jadon Sancho, whether he threw him under the bus or not, park that to one side. So it's a press conference, right? So it's one of those ones which you sort of go, it's nuanced, but this whole thing is nuanced and no one wants it to be nuanced. Because when you talk about one side, people then fly at you, insults. I hate you. I hate you because you said this thing about this manager and then we start generalizing. So if you criticize the manager, that means you think the players are doing fine. No. If you think it's on the players, that means you think the manager's doing fine. No. And then we just go at each other, go at each other. So it's like, that's why, like, circle back to Dan Ashworth and all that kind of stuff. It's just, you just want the ambiguity to be gone. But unfortunately, that's going to be here for the next, month? Isn't it like it's a month? Is that a month today or a month tomorrow? The FA Cup final is. It's May 24th, I think it is.
Yeah, I thought it was in June.
Yeah.
But no, clearly not. Clearly not. Yeah, it's listen, you're right in everything you said there. That's what happens when it gets to this type of time. The only time it's not like this, which, since we've all been doing what we've been doing in this space, Man United hasn't been it. So it's very difficult. The only time it's not like this is when you can clearly see that the team is going in one way, and that is up. It's competing for titles, it's winning things. So Liverpool, City, and Liverpool and City fans, when on their fan channels and stuff like that, they don't have these sorts of discussions. The manager's sort of tenure is never in question.
Well,
it's just
let's
not
see what happens
something...
next season.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But up until now, like, it's all plain sailing. Bunch of Arsenal fans were where we are every single week for about 10 years. And then right up until Arteta's back-to-back 8th, we're still doing all this. And now there's still a few who, really want to be right and get Arteta out because they don't think he's going to take them over the line. But you can't disagree that he's doing a great job and they're going in the direction they're meant to be going in. So there's not really much arguments about it. But when it's like how ours is, where every couple of years we're in this situation, we're used to it. I'm used to this. Did it under Jose, had it then. Fans are saying this, other fans are saying that. He's a born winner. Look at these players. They're the problem. Jose's a serial winner. How could he be a bad coach? Then there's Jose's toxic. Look at that. He's falling out with all the players. Get him out. He's short term. Same happened with Ollie. How can you blame him? He's a club legend. Treat him with more respect. It's not his fault. It's the Glazers, the players, this, that, and the other. Then there's, what kind of manager is he? Who would even have him when he leaves here? He's only done Cardiff. What is this?
We start twisting things. We start twisting things. And I noticed this. I noticed this with the Thomas Tuchel rumours, by the way. And I've myself have been like, I don't think Tuchel's the right fit for Man United, right? But I have seen people playing down like his achievements, like he's done nothing in football, which to me is bizarre. Like, what's he ever won? You go, Champions League. Well, you go, and then you go, but that was in the season which it was a half-empty stadium, so it beat City. Wow, it doesn't really matter. You go PSG. You go, win the league. Everyone should win the league at PSG. Okay, and go got to Champions League final at PSG. Well, he should. Not many other people have done it, have they, actually? And, it hasn't worked out at Bayern, even though he did win the league, but par for the course. But it's like, and then, like you said, with Ollie, he's not won anything. And then you go, Eric, the thing is, what's he won? And you go, Eredivisie. Well, he should win the Eredivisie. And, it's always, there's always an asterisk over it, isn't there? Always an asterisk. And I don't get that. For all of the criticisms, Thomas Tuchel, I don't think you can say he's a bad coach.
No, it's not. I was saying this the other day.
He has won things.
That he's like rubbish. He's not rubbish. He's a good manager.
We can't just disregard that. I mean, it's like, you can say you don't want Thomas Tuchel at Manchester United and be perfectly justified because that's your opinion, but you don't have to do it by like just saying things that didn't happen. That's what I don't understand. It's like, and people did it with Eric when he came in, right? He's not right for Manchester United. Why? What's he won? He won the Eredivisie. Well, it doesn't count. So what does count then? Like, can we? There's no criteria. Yeah. The definition's always skewed.
Who hasn't won. Just up and coming manager hasn't won. So is that
always
right?
They're always skewed, aren't they? They're always skewed. Yeah. Like even before, Xabi Alonso, he's won the Bundesliga now or whatever. But halfway through the season, people didn't know by Leverkusen were going to win the league. At that point, it was still nip and tuck. They hadn't lost yet. People were advocating because guess what? They wanted a play style, and now it looks like he is going to win stuff. That's great. We'll see what happens next season with Bayer Leverkusen, right? Because you never know. Like football is so flavor of the month, isn't it? It really is.
And some people have said to me that the Tuchel thing is like he's lost to a Bayern Leverkusen team that haven't lost a game. Like that never happens. Like they're literally unbeaten. But then people say, listen, he went and got Harry Kane, the best striker on the planet, one of. he scored all them goals and he bottled it to a Leverkusen team that's, Xabi Alonso's a young up-and-coming manager. I don't
And you
know.
mentioned Liverpool. It's going to be really interesting with them next season if they do get Arne Slot from Feyenoord. It's going to be really interesting to see, because he is going into a side that I don't think Liverpool are going to win the league this season, but they've run it pretty close, pretty successful, in terms of being up there. If there is a drop off, do they give him time, or is it I don't know about that? Do they keep the same energy like it was with Erik ten Hag going, so you've done well in the Eredivisie, what does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be very curious. Very curious.
See if the same energy is kept. We are nearly at 1,400 people watching, by the way, which is brilliant. 209 likes. So what we can do is, which we haven't done, we should have a push on that to get to the 250. But with 1,400 people pretty much watching, that's a 500 job, guys. It really is actually. Going to take a pause here and watch these likes just fly up and break that 300 mark pretty quickly, pretty easily, and just push towards 500, because with like I said, with about 1,400 people watching, there's no reason why we can't get 500 likes in the bag. Okay, get your comments in, get your super chats in, get your chats in, everything, we'll get them read out. I'm going to go and do a little bit of all of that right now. Your members chats as well, and people from just in the regular chat there. So we're going to get some of those read out, so you all feel part of the show. Pav is the latest member of the UV Members Club. Big up to you, Pav. Nice one. Milan says, thoughts on the Muppeteers info. INEOS have made provisional decision on sacking, however, want Wilcox to back their findings from a footballing side. I was just looking at some of the Muppeteers things. I haven't seen that piece.
I don't know. I haven't seen that. It might be in one of their videos. I'm not sure. But we shall see.
Interesting. Wilcox starting at 10 off position. Yeah, we'll have to have a look. We'll keep an eye on that. Big up to the guy at Muppeteers, always doing great stuff. Pav also is not just joined the members club, but he's also sent in a super chat as well. Big up to you, bro. Says we're congratulating Erik ten Hag for getting back-to-back finals, but when we're linked to Thomas Tuchel, oh no, he's a rubbish manager. How many cup finals has Tommy T got to? But fans want to disregard him. I think it's kind of.
That's kind of my point. That's kind of my point.
It's similar to what Owen was just saying.
Yeah.
Pav says, Joe Fleming says, Flex looks mega tired. LOL, mega tired. Do I look tired?
I don't think you look tired. I've seen you look more tired.
So, worst thing about that is I thought I was all right. I thought it looked all right.
Yeah.
But according to Joe, I look tired. So big up to you, Joe. Thanks for looking out for me. I'm going to try and untired myself.
Lights up, folks. Give me 1,000 likes. Do it now.
Now, you missed this yesterday, Flex, because I was saying with Nubi and Varane, the chat was saying yesterday, we think we can do more. We think we can go bigger with this. I think that when Nubi and Pharaoh puts in a super chat, there should be a whole video, a whole graphic. So the gong,
like a quick.
Well, no, the gong goes off, and then the screen goes black. Right. The gong hits again, and the Pharaoh pops up, and there is fire, there is smoke, it's a big thing. And then we put the super chat up with just the Pharaoh and sort of the dark backdrop on the screen and the deep voice, and we do it like that. Then we press the gong and we come back to us. I think the production needs to go higher. And from what Nubi and Pharaoh said, well, to be fair, Nubi and Pharaoh yesterday said, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, because he's a very laid back kind of guy. But as I said yesterday, and maybe he can co-sign this, if that's what Nubi and Pharaoh wants, that's not what Nubi and Pharaoh gets. Yeah. So if he's got any more ideas, feel free, let us know, because I feel I've got to give it to Josh. I've got to give it to Josh and go create
in his hands. Yeah.
It's in his hands. I've got to do. Yeah.
It really is, because it's just insane. What happens? It's just mental. And by the way, I don't think that's possible in this stream. But Nubian Pharaoh did say he wants 1,000 likes. I mean,
1,000.
I said 500. I mean,
who knows what it'll do?
International 2675 says, shout out to the journalist that brought up Ahmad, which we will talk about in just a little bit. And Kristen says, big up to you, Kristen. How are you doing, bro? Always good to hear from you. Kristen says, fun fact, Nubian is a breed of goat. Is that true?
Is that genuine, or is he just the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I think I'd say that. I don't think
so.
I don't think it's an actual. It must be.
It's a goat.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Hello. Wait a minute. Flex.
Oh,
Wait a
okay.
minute.
Okay.
Anglo-Nubian goat. Right there.
Wow.
Because I think, doesn't Nubian have something to do with Egypt? Is that what it means?
Yeah. Yeah, like because I'm seeing here a group of
Yeah.
dark-skinned people that formed a powerful empire between Egypt and Ethiopia. Because Nubian, in terms of in black culture as well, is used as like Nubian queen, my Nubian king, my Nubian pharaoh.
So this goat is some kind of sort of British breed of domestic goat, but I guess it's kind of maybe has like some kind of I don't know, Egyptian root, Egyptian part of it as well. You learn something. Don't say you don't learn anything.
Yeah.
On United
Anglo-Nubian goat.
Goat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
A British breed of domestic goat. Originated in the 19th century from crossbreeding native goat mixed with, and then it cuts off. I can't bother to click the rest.
Yeah.
Mixed with population of large loop-eared goats from India, the Middle East, and North Africa. All right. Interesting. The animal view. Yeah.
Yeah.
Casemiro and the Ghost of Rafe the Phantom.
Yes, a bit of an update on their future, which is kind of, I guess, what you already know, really. But this was coming from the People yesterday, saying that Casemiro and Raphael Varane are unlikely to be at Manchester United next season, with behind-the-scenes moves being discussed to allow them to leave this summer, with Saudi Arabia a potential destination, certainly for Casemiro. Continues by saying a replacement for Raphael Varane is being actively sought by Manchester United, but the age profile may well be different, which is a very strange way of going, we'll get a younger centre-back. I'm not sure why they phrased it that way. We're going to get a replacement for Raphael Varane, but the age profile is going to be different, which again means we're going to get a younger centre-back. Now, as I feel like we touch on this story, every 2 weeks or every month. It's like once a month we check in, don't we, about the Raphael Varane one. And like with David De Gea last season, as time goes on and nothing changes, you tend to come to the conclusion that nothing is going to change with that. And basically, Varane's going to leave on a free transfer. The Casemiro one, I think, is a little bit more interesting because it's more based on assumption that he's going to go to Saudi, which I think he will, but has there been anything totally concrete on that? We're just assuming that they're going to be there. But you kind of do feel like, well, if we offered Casemiro out to the Saudi Pro League, then they would take him, right? I'm very interested to see what the Saudi Pro League is going to do this summer because it was kind of crazy last summer, wasn't it? I think they'll do it again, but
they'll definitely do it again.
Does it feel like with the Saudi Pro League that last year, that it did feel like there was somewhat of like a movement with that, didn't it? Of like all of these players are going there, and this new league, not new league because it was there, but they're really putting the money in there. It's going to be a big deal, and then fast forward sort of 9 months, are people really paying attention to it anymore? Are people watching it? It was like, they watched. I think DAZN have it here in the UK on their app or something. Like, do you think it's going to be the same? I guess money talks.
Yeah, money talks. It just depends if they, they will see their progression of the league last year as somewhat of a success in terms of the names they managed to bring in. That raised a lot of eyebrows because people thought, wow, I tell you, people are actually going there. Like a lot of players, and like not just players that are like done and dusted, like can't move anymore. Like Firmino's still all right. Like. Benzema's just done amazing at Real Madrid. Like, I know it's over, but Mane, Neymar, he got injured though, didn't he?
Straight away, yeah.
Yeah, straight away. But he's still there. We're forgetting that. Obviously, Ronaldo is already there, one of the first. What's his face as well? Ruben Neves was always on the move, going to be going to Man United or somewhere in the Prem and this, that, and the other. Oh, did he go there?
I think so, yeah.
He finally actually moved somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. And there's a lot that actually have popped up through the year where I'm like, bloody hell, I didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was huge last year. I think they will look at that they will definitely come back strong for some more. You know, the Mo Salah thing won't go away. It's just looks match made, doesn't it? It really, really does. It's just a matter of time. I
Particularly with the Klopp ending as well.
Klopp ending, he's got, I think, a year left or something. They can get huge money for a
200 million. 200 million pounds.
For a 30-what-year-old, 32 is Mo Salah, something like
that? Is he 31, 32, something like that?
31, 32. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mo Salah's still incredible.
Still, yeah.
And still
31.
puts up
32
31. But I don't know much 32-year-olds that can get a 200, 200k, 200 million. Or, 150 now, it's gone down a bit. Whatever. Substantial money for Liverpool's rebuild if they do want to move on. And listen, he's an absolute Liverpool legend, a Premier League legend as well. So I think they'll go back for some players. And there's still some name brand ones out there who are at the turn of their career that can go there and do a bit. And you would put Varane and Casemiro absolutely in that. In fact, in world football, with the types of people they can be going after, the Saudis, I couldn't think of a lot more fitting than that. It just fits, so yeah. And also, let's not get twisted. Less so Varane because it's free agent and he's going to leave anyway. But with Casemiro, we need them to be. We need them to offer us something because nobody else will.
Ones. Yeah.
Nobody else will. Nobody else can take Casemiro, and Casemiro won't go anywhere else and be like, with 3 years left of my deal, I've had a bad season, one good season, I've had some injuries. This thing's changed and I ain't going anywhere. I'm on good money. I've got 3 years left. I've got security. Things are changing at the club. And Casemiro is a fighter. He'll believe he can turn that round as well. But if, he gets a really good offer to go and live it up nice in Saudi, that's even more lucrative than the deal he's got now. He'd probably get another 3 year, but just more money.
Yeah, he'd get a pay rise. You know what I mean? It's not as if he'd be, they'd increase because we wouldn't get a huge fee for him, which which is wild that we paid what we paid for Casemiro as well.
What would Casemiro? 20 million?
It wouldn't be a
25,
lot, 20, maybe at max 30 or something like that, maybe. But we'd be more looking at we're going to take a loss on the transfer fee. Absolutely, we were always going to. But it's the contract, isn't it? It's the contract for him. So yeah, maybe like 30, something like that. It wouldn't be huge amounts of money, because generally, not all the time, but generally, they don't tend to do huge transfer fees for these players. They usually give enough, don't they? They do enough and they do the contract thing. But on the occasion, they'll splash out if they need to. Like you said, Mo Salah this summer. Even with how much they get Neymar for PSG, it was still quite a bit of money, wasn't it? It was still a lot.
I don't know. What was the actual fee of that?
Neymar to Al Hilal price, 90 million euros. So it's still a lot.
Still a lot, yeah.
Still a lot. But that's they can do that if they want to. But with Casemiro, they're not going to get 100 million euros for Casemiro. It's not going to happen. But it's going to be a lot of wages off the books, and it must be stressed because you have to stress this every time. No, it's not saying like Casemiro and Varane are worse than Maguire and McTominay.
No.
I don't know why it becomes that conversation, but it always does. This is what's wrong with Manchester United, etc., etc., etc. But we talk about nuance once again. Certain players, it's easier for them to go quicker than others, isn't it? That doesn't mean they should all stay. Doesn't mean they should all go. I think Harry Maguire, I still think Maguire goes in the summer. I think it's Lindelof that sticks around and sees out his contract.
You think Maguire goes in summer?
Yeah, I think he goes. I think he has a good Euros. Then he goes. I mean, unless the worst comes to the worst, and it is Gareth Southgate at Manchester United, which again, at that point, like I've said to you, Flex, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know.
It won't be. Don't worry.
I don't know.
It won't be. Gareth Southgate
I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I don't think so either. Because I just don't. Oh my god, I don't even want to think about it. But I think it'll be Maguire that goes in the summer. And then look, you never know with McTominay because he is homegrown academy player. If a decent offer comes in, and we're talking about the tight budget and the PSR, it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones you've got to consider, isn't it? So that's why the summer's fascinating. There's this list of players we're assuming is going to go. And Casemiro and Varane is in that. But then there's this other group of players that we're going, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if offers come in and what United do when it comes to that. So very interesting, certainly.
Yes, very. Where are we at? We are at 1,500 people now watching live, just under 450 likes. So we're 50 away from the 500. So we'll definitely get that in the bag. If you haven't liked the video already, please do. Let's get to 500 likes. It'd be great to do that. Also, if you want to share the video as well, let your friends know you're watching, share it in the group chat, share it on social media, that we are live. 1,400 of us are in here, nearly 1,500. Let's push beyond 1,500. Let's get further than that. Let's get more people watching live. Please do share the video as well. Joe Fleming says, "Sorry, Don. LOL. Yeah, apology accepted. It's fine. If I look tired,
it was out of care. It was out of care, wasn't it?
Exactly.
You're
It just
right. You right
shows
this morning?
that,
You look a bit tired. Yeah. There you go.
Exactly. And that's what the community is. It's all about
Exactly.
caring. Minna in the chat says, "Big up all. Big up to you, Minna."
Big up.
And Paul Warner says, "I've actually been to the Nubian pyramids in Mero, in North Sudan. Big up to my Nubian brother." Okay,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. KKM says, "Look between F and H on your keyboards, and you find UV."
Gee, I tell you what, that trend, like, I hate it. Like, it's everywhere, isn't it? It is.
Why does these things just start? Why does
they
that
just
happen?
snowball, don't they? I don't know. And they're very difficult to trace to the start, aren't they? You know, remember the one last year with Beetlejuice? What you doing? Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. Like that. And that just became a massive thing. But that was funny. This one is just annoying because it makes you do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
not like the one it used to be when it was like look into this corner, then you look into this corner and it goes, look into that corner, and you look into that corner and you go, look at the person's eye, and you look in the eye, and then like you're going around on this image and it goes like hi or whatever or something. You go,
what was that type here thing in the corner? That thing.
Oh yeah, that was the number one.
Was that? I didn't even know what was going on. Real Madrid was doing it.
I got confused by that one.
I just thought, what does it mean? I don't know. Maybe because I'm old school, me. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Eric Ten Hag, excuse me. Ahmad plans.
Yes, so Ahmad was brought up in the press conference of Eric Ten Hag, the embargoed part of the press conference yesterday. And Eric Ten Hag had some interesting things to say about the Manchester United player. So he was asked about playing time, and Eric Ten Hag said, Ahmad deserves it, more game time. But don't forget, he had a long period in the season injured. So we rebuilt him, and now he has had some opportunities. and
rebuilt him. so dramatic.
And made a real contribution. Some opportunities, some would argue very limited. Against Coventry, he played in the position that is not his best position. He started as a striker, then he had to play in midfield, so he did well. He also said, we have a number of players in that area. There is big competition. He already deserved more game minutes, I would say, but I have to choose there. We have Garnacho, Anthony, we have Amari Forson. And he also said, we have a number of players in that position and we have to make the choices there. But I'm very happy with his performances and his progress. I see his qualities and his assets can really contribute to our game. Now, once again, it's a press conference, so you get the answer you expect. You always say, Flex, you can say what you want in a press conference, but your actions speak louder than words. Your team selection speaks louder than words. But there are a lot of people out injured tonight. Do you think there's a chance we see an Ahmad start? Is tonight the night?
Well, I'll tell you what. Also, I was going to bring up, but it kind of comes into this anyway. Is when he said in the embargo bit of the presser, I think it was the second. He said we have to be creative with the team. Have you seen that quote? He said. He said, "Let me pull that up. It's on United District actually. Just go on United District and you'll see sort of probably near the top." Where he's saying, you know, we need options or different type of team, or what is the exact quote?
I'll continue to scroll.
Yeah, continue to scroll. But he basically was insinuating that, you know, like what Owen's saying there, we need to mix the bag a little bit. We need to be creative. And I thought,
tomorrow we will be creative and put out a team which is able to win the game, even we have to be really creative and put players in other positions.
Right. So that means, I know you can read in too deep, but it's fun to do. That means that no centre backs are back. So Casemiro still got to stay there. I would take that as
yes, Casemiro plays centre back
as a minimum. He did say that he feels like Bruno and Garnacho will be okay. He does feel that.
But then you have a
Unless
game
he's
at the weekend as well. You have a game on Saturday, don't you?
exactly. So he's like, so maybe I have to mix that up, and Ahmad might have to play in the 10, or Ahmad might have to play on the right, or so to answer back to your question, I think there's a chance that we see some other stuff we didn't quite maybe expect to see. McTominay out now as well. So that's Mainu, Ericsson, Bruno maybe, but could it be that Bruno maybe can't play or has to come off during the game to give him a rest for the weekend, and then you will see sort of Mainu, Ahmad, Ericsson. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Ahmad in the 10, obviously. I don't know. So just him saying it may be that we have to be really creative and put players in different positions suggests that isn't just the Casemiro one. We know about that one. Willie Camboila's not back. Neither's Johnny Evans. Neither's Lindelof. Neither's Varane. And neither's Martinez. So we know we don't have any other options there. So Casemiro will play centre half again.
Well, you even saw it, last night. By the way, congratulations to Man United's under-18s.
Yes,
they won the
massive.
Premier League Cup against Manchester City. But even then, a lot of the people involved in that, sort of the people that you have seen on the periphery of the Man United senior matchday squad, they had to come off at half-time last night because they're going to be involved. They're going to be involved this evening, and maybe more than just the bench. Your Harry Armasses and what have you. Yeah. They might actually legitimately be involved in that. So, it's going to be real. It is going to be really interesting. In recent weeks, because of the injuries, the teams have actually been fairly easy to predict, about who's going to start, because you go, well, with the people we've got, it's probably going to be this. But like you say, because the injuries now are so great, you did see that on Sunday when the team news came out of Wembley. You looked towards the bench and went, there's like nothing on the bench.
It's kids, yeah.
But now we've got even more people are out injured. So if you were to go through that team, you go, well, Onana's going to start, obviously. The back four will probably be the same as it was. Midfield, if McTominay's a doubt, which he looks like he is, you say Cobby and probably Ericsson.
It will have to be Ericsson.
Because he's literally the only other midfielder I think we've got at this point.
Play Ericsson.
Then if Rashford's out, then you're going, right, look at that front four. It will be interesting to see if he goes with Garnacho and Anthony, or if he goes with like Ahmad and Anthony because Garnacho's too hurt or something like that, or he goes Garnacho and Ahmad maybe. Well, I don't know. Bruno, like you say, I think will play. I think Bruno will play the whole game. I don't even think he comes off because you know what Bruno's like. And then it'll be Højlund up front. But it's one of those ones, isn't it? If Ahmad doesn't start tonight, then he is within his right to be like, what? I don't know what more I can do, because literally players are dropping like flies. It's not as if I'm dropping stinkers when I come on. I scored the winner against Liverpool at Old Trafford, and it wasn't that's like the only thing I did. I won the ball back. I played well. I contributed. He came on at the weekend. He did well. He was industrious. He puts more of an effort going backwards than Marcus Rashford does. Not that that's very difficult at all. I think I could, and that'd be me like rolling over and turning into like a snowball rolling up and down that line, because it's just the minimum amount of effort. But Ahmad does that, and he's got end product. But if he doesn't start tonight, then he must be like, I don't know what I can do at this point.
What I can do, yeah.
But to your point, maybe he does get creative. Maybe they do go, oh, okay, we'll put Ahmad in the 10 because Bruno's knock's actually quite bad. Like
that would suggest that really creative bit means, well, I don't know what more. You're as creative as you can be in the back line. That is what it is. It must mean the midfield. Yeah, and up front, because like you said, it depends how bad the knocks are. I think Rashford will be out, but I think because I think Garnacho will be fit, I think he'll go Garnacho and Anthony.
Do you think it's interesting as well that despite all of the personnel problems in terms of injuries, you would still think that he won't change shape? Like the shape.
He won't change.
The shape never changes. Interestingly enough, that's part of one of our problems, isn't it? Of going, well, actually, maybe if you tried something different, as the sirens say, if he tried something different, that would be good. I mean, he only did it. Was it once a season when he went to the Diamond? Remember when he did a Diamond for like a game?
Yeah.
Was that against? Was it Brighton? He went with the Diamond. I think it was Brighton at Old Trafford, maybe. Yeah, but he tried it maybe once or twice. That was about it. That's the biggest pivot I think I've seen Ten Hag do as a Man United manager. Season? It was this season he did the Diamond, wasn't it? I think so.
With two up front, with Garnacho and Rashford, was it?
But yeah, he did the Diamond for maybe like 2 games. But no,
you lot are good at trivia. Get in the comments. What game was that? I do remember that. Was it Brighton? No, at home.
But I just think it's interesting that you see these other managers would change shape at this point, but he won't. Now that's when you get back into the debate of going, will he not change shape because he doesn't, because he can't, or is it because the players can't? I mean, they did say yesterday, James Ducker in his article, that one of the reasons that actually United were a bit hesitant to go to like a Julian Nagelsmann is because they're very conscious, like they couldn't switch to a back five at this point because their squad's so shit, basically. So maybe Ten Hag's at the same point of view where he's like, well, I can't change shape. These players can't do it. I have to literally. I mean, we've done this same shape for like 2 years now, and still the players struggle to do it. So what's the point?
Yeah, it was Brighton. Yeah, it was Brighton. Casemiro, McTominay, Eriksen, Bruno in a diamond, and Højlund and Rashford up front. Lost 3-1.
Well, and also, I think, and if I recall correctly that game, I might be wrong, I might be misremembering this, but I feel like we actually started that game well, and then basically De Zerbi kind of looked at it and went, they're playing a diamond, just change a couple of things, and then they ripped us apart. Like
I remember that. Yeah.
Like it was, and again,
I tell you what, I remember sitting in the stadium and I kept saying that's exactly what happened, because what they started doing is, was it Veltman? I'm sure it was. Yeah, Veltman. He was going up as like a right wing back, and then we couldn't get out to him quick enough. So between Van der Heek and Lewis Dunk, they kept pinging balls to the left and right backs, or left and right wing backs at the time, and they were just getting out down that left hand side. I was like, between Rashford and Højlund, they're not getting out quick enough, and then they just they mashed us up. Well,
yeah,
scored,
exactly. So I don't think a change of shape happens.
He ain't changing the shape. He definitely ain't doing that. For sure. And it is interesting to see what changes he does make today for the game. KKM says, look, I said that already. Kareem says, almost 5 a.m. in Canada, and I'm up watching UV with the sort of shoulder shrug and like laughing emoji of like, what am I doing? Welcome, bro. Welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed the show. Match day. Quick prediction, Owen, before we go.
Oh my God. We're at home.
Yeah. Sheffield United and Bournemouth.
2-1. 2-1. Because typically this season, these kind of games against those smaller teams at Old Trafford, they've been a drag to watch.
Yeah.
They have been a proper.
None of them have been routine.
Drag. Because they'll do like low block, and they'll do what everyone does against Man United, which if they're deemed inferior, which is get behind the ball, just wait for Man United to get in the final third. We'll make a bad decision. We'll take a shot when we shouldn't, or we can't pass the ball. We give the ball away. Then long ball, you're in. That one-on-one, let's go. One-on-one defense. It's like a training routine all over again, isn't it? Remember you used to do that in training when it'd be like, defense versus attack, 1v1. Let's see how you 1v1 attacking and defending is. And it's that all the time. So
it literally is that, yeah.
I'm going to go
which should never happen in games as much as it does.
Only if the game is like totally stretched, last minute, that kind of stuff. Like that, how often it happens 1v1, 2v2s is so crazy.
Barrett and Diaz, mate. I swear.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2-1. But as always, I don't think it's going to be a pretty watch.
Ollie McBurney and that. Oh, come on, mate.
Your prediction?
Oh, mate. Yeah, 2-1, mate.
If we don't get a win this evening,
that was going to be my next bit.
I was going to say.
Are we now into another territory of that?
Well, my thing was going to be, if we don't get a win, not even necessarily like a loss, but let's say it's a draw. Let's say it's 1-1 or it's 2-2 or something ridiculous. Then is that officially, from the Premier League point of view, is that the season petering out in the Premier League? Like, we're just going to be shit for the rest of the season, the Premier League, not pick up many points. We're just going for the FA Cup. Because I feel like if we draw tonight, if we don't win tonight, then I kind of feel like that's what the rest of this season is.
Whoa, yeah.
Because there's only so many games left, isn't it? So it's like,
that would be disgraceful.
Honestly. Under Ranić or whatever, we still finished 6th that season, or maybe under like Moyes is a better example. And then you got sacked, where it's just like, you get to that stage of the season where it's like 4 games left, and you go, well, these don't actually matter anymore. Like,
no, they don't. Just keep petering. Just get everyone fit.
Results.
Yeah, it's true. Because, even in the table, of course, look, we can still finish our worst. Chelsea, again, proving why, like you said, they can just start slipping off. We win tonight. We'll be 6 points ahead of them with the game in hand. Then I just saw their next game's Villa away. They ain't winning that. So when we play Burnley, hopefully you win. Chelsea ain't going to finish above us. West Ham are slipping off now. They're getting licks every week. They won't finish above us. So we'll be looking at Newcastle in it.
We got some tough games coming up, Flo.
And we got some tough game. Palace away,
Newcastle
Arsenal home,
Brighton,
Arsenal,
Brighton away.
We ain't getting. I tell you what, them games are Palace away. That's what I'm saying. The season will peak actually, so then Chelsea could catch back up. Who cares? Yeah, the season's done. I'm not even. I don't care.
That's why I'm saying, like, I saw you saying on the preview, like, it's got to be 6 points, but it really does, because it's like, if it's any drop points in the next 2 games, like, the season's petering out anyway domestically in the league. Like, if it's, it could get really, because we haven't won the Premier League since we played Everton. And that was like early March.
And the fixture list serves you up, after the embarrassment, it serves you up 2 relegation teams at home.
Yeah.
And
get yourself back on track. Get
a bit of
momentum. Yeah,
a couple of players might come back in a couple of weeks as well. Well, the game's quite quick, actually. I don't know. But whatever. I don't know. 2-1 tonight. I deal with game by game, mate. I don't care. Honestly. It's all about the FA Cup. League's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Worst ever finish or not worst ever finish. It's not. It's already the worst it's ever been. It's the same as when we said under the Ralph season. That's our worst ever season. This is basically the same. This is the same. And in terms of positions,
we've got something out of that season as well, because we've got Europa League. That was
by luck. But and again, that we could get something by luck again. Might finish 6th,
I don't think we will.
Well, we're level on points in Newcastle. You never know, but it's unlikely. But again, what I'm saying is, I don't even care about that. It is we'll probably be in the Conference League, mate. Honestly, it's embarrassing.
I didn't even know about that. I don't.
Maybe not. I'd rather not.
When you look at,
embarrassing.
Like, occasionally you go to, you type in Man United and you on Google and you look at the fixtures or whatever, and then you look at actually just because, again, when you do go game by game, sometimes you forget the string of results. And you just look at it, you go, okay, didn't win against Bournemouth, didn't win against Liverpool, didn't win against Chelsea, didn't win against Brentford. We beat Liverpool, that was FA Cup though. Beat Everton, didn't win against City. Beat Forest, that was the FA Cup though, didn't win against Fulham. You're going back to February, where we had a run of games of winning them all in a row, which was Wolves, West Ham, Villa, and then Luton. But since sort of really late February, we haven't been able to put together a few wins in a row.
And that's not going to change now at the end of the season, when we're dead on our feet, got no players,
rapidly change,
and chucking away 3-goal leads at Wembley. So to Championship opposition, but it's not embarrassing. It's fine, honestly. So it's 2-1. We'll concede to do something stupid, and it won't be great. Smash the like on the video, guys. The match view is on tonight as well, Owen.
Yes, I'm going to be there. It's going to be a throwback, or I guess a preview to the summer. I'm really looking forward to the Euros in the summer with the old school single commentary. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure to join me there for our sins. It's going to be nice.
Take care, guys. We'll see you later on in the game. See you in the road trip later on, actually. Take care. Peace.